Hey all, welcome to Homeschool, and this is our fourth part on a chapter Matter in Our Surroundings. Three parts are completed. Video links are provided in the description. You can go and watch the videos. And today I am going to talk about the interconversion of matter. Let us see how the three states of matter can be converted from one form to another form. Okay, so that is interconversion of matter. Clear? So in our previous video, we studied about three states of matter, that is solids, liquids and gases. And we studied the properties of solids, properties or characters of liquids as well as gases. Now that we completely have an idea about how the solids behave, liquids as well as gases. And now, if you want to convert solid into a liquid, what you have to do? If you have to convert liquid into a gas, what you can do, right? So these conversions we will discuss in detail. We all generally know that when you have an ice, okay, say for example, water is available in three states: ice, okay, available as water, and you have a vapor. Can you tell me when does an ice can get converted into water? When you heat it, right? Ice gets converted into water on heating. Water on heating again, it gets converted into vapor, isn't it? Likewise, vapor can get converted into water, water can get converted into ice on cooling. This is a general thing, we all very well know that, right? And now let us talk about the various terms. What do you call the conversion of solid into liquid, liquid into gas, gas into liquid, liquid into solid? Okay, so with special names, let us try to understand. Okay, so always remember, whenever solids, okay, you have a solid, if it is getting converted into liquid, then this can happen on heating, right? Only when you heat it, solids can become liquid. Ice is there. Okay, when you heat it, ice will melt into water, right? So when does ice can melt into water? Only when you heat it. Without heating, that transformation cannot happen, right? So this on heating, solids gets converted into liquid, and this process is called as fusion. Okay, fusion, right? So conversion of solids into liquid is called fusion. And now liquids can get converted into gases, right? And when does the liquids can get converted into gases? Again on heating only, right? And the conversion of liquid into gases is called as vaporization. They are called as vaporization. Okay, fine. And now, you know what? Straight away, solid can get converted into gas on heating. Okay, clear? And this process, we will call it as sublimation. So the process of conversion of solid into gas is called sublimation. And you know what? Gases can also get converted into solid. Okay, gases can also get converted into solids. Both processes are called with the name sublimation. Okay, fine. And now we all know liquid can get converted into solid, right? On cooling, right? When does, say for example, you have water, you want to make it into ice. What do? You will keep it in a fridge. So what happens inside a fridge? Cooling takes place. So on cooling, liquid is getting converted into solid, right? And this process, we will call it as solidification. Okay, solidification. So what do you mean by solidification here? Conversion of liquid into solid is called solidification. Okay, and again here gases gets converted into liquid on cooling. Gases also same thing, when you cool they will get converted into liquid, and this process we will call it as condensation. So what do you mean by condensation here? Conversion of gas into liquid is called as what? It is called as condensation. So these definitions are very important. What do you mean by fusion? Fusion means conversion of solid into liquid is called fusion. Okay. So what is vaporization? Conversion of liquid into gases. What is sublimation? Conversion of solid into gas is called solidification. Okay, so these conversions, what do you call those conversions as? You know, these terms meanings are very, very important to understand. Fusion means conversion of solid into liquid. Vaporization means conversion of liquid into gas. Sublimation means conversion of solid into gas. Condensation means conversion of gas into liquid. When does the gas can get converted into liquid? On cooling. And what is solidification? Conversion of liquid into solid, water becoming ice. How does it takes place? On cooling. So these terms meanings are important. Okay, now the big question mark is, okay, you are converting solid into liquid. Okay, you have ice. You are heating it, it is becoming liquid, it is becoming water. What is happening with that solid? How exactly your ice is getting melted into water? During melting time, what is happening? Okay, what actually happens when with heating? Say on heating, this conversion takes place. So on heating, what is happening with the molecules of ice? How does that solid becoming into liquid? All that we will discuss in detail. Okay. See guys, when does a solid is getting converted into liquid? On doing what? On heating, right? So when you heat solid, it will get converted into liquid, right? Okay, so let us understand this experiment. Diagrammatically I will explain you. So you have taken a beaker, okay, where you have 1 kg of ice. So you have ice cubes. I took it in a beaker, right? And I am continuously heating this. This is a burner where flame is coming. Okay, so this is a fire and I'm continuously heating it. And I have put a thermometer here. Okay, so you all know what is thermometer, right? It is helps you to measure the temperature. So thermometer has a readings 0 degree, 10 degree, 20 degree, like that. Okay, fine. And you know what? As you start heating it, the temperature gradually increases in the thermometer. Okay, the temperature of ice was around -4 degree or 5 degree. Okay, so let me show you graphically how actually the changes would happen. Okay, say initially, this is at -5 degree, right? Say this is -3 degree, okay, -4 degree, -3 degree, -2 degree, -1 degree. Let us do a graph. Okay, say this is temperature. Say our y-axis is temperature, right? I'm plotting a temperature. Fine. As you heat continuously, our temperature also rises. Okay, so why actually the temperature rises is because what, the solid, okay, it is made up of particles. It is made up of many particles, isn't it? So that particular solid, as I heat it continuously, okay, let me write here, as heating increases, what happens? The particles would move faster. Okay, particles kinetic energy also increases. So what I will write, as heating increases, kinetic energy of particles increases. Clear? So as kinetic energy of particle increases, temperature increases. Temperature increases. Okay, so that's why you will observe rise of mercury level in a thermometer. Okay, so initially the ice's temperature was -5 degrees centigrade, but as you start heating it, from -5 it will become -4, from -4 it will become -3, from -3 it will become -2, from -2 it will become -1, then it will reach 0 degree. Okay, so it will reach 0 degree, and here, you know, for some time the temperature stops at 0 degree centigrade. You will continue your heating, you haven't stopped your heating. Okay, but the moment temperature reaches 0 degree, for about 10 to 20 seconds, for about 10 to 20 seconds, you know, temperature do not rise. Temperature do not rise. It will remain constant. It will remain constant. Okay, but you haven't stopped your heating. Heating you are doing continuously. As you do heating continuously, your temperature must rise, right? It will rise definitely, from -5 it is rising to -4, -3, -2, -1. But the moment it reaches 0 degree, you will see the temperature does not rise. Okay, so it is remaining constant for some seconds, at least for 10 to 20 seconds. The temperature is not rising, it is stagnant, it is stable at 0 degree centigrade. Okay, so here at 0 degree centigrade, what is happening is the entire ice, see here the melting started actually at 0 degree centigrade, the melting started, and you know, for about 20 seconds the temperature is not rising. You haven't stopped heating, you are continuing heating, and the entire amount of ice is getting melted into water within this 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, but you haven't stopped heating, you have not stopped heating. So what happened to that heat energy? Okay, for about 10 to 20 seconds, no, the temperature has not risen, you have not stopped heating. Okay, so what happened to that extra amount of heat that you are giving? You see, as you give heat, temperature must rise. But here what happened? For about some time the temperature remained constant, and you know, actually what is happening is, in that particular time the entire ice is getting converted into water. Okay, and that temperature at which the entire ice getting converted into liquid is called as melting point. Is called as melting point. Okay, so what is the melting point of ice here? The melting point of ice is 0 degree centigrade. Okay, say what do you mean by melting point? I am writing the definition of melting point here. Melting point. Melting point is it is the temperature. It is the temperature at which solid gets converted into liquid at atmospheric pressure. At atmospheric pressure, okay, is called melting point. Okay, so here the melting point of ice is how much? It is 0 degree centigrade. And if you have to convert this into Kelvin, in Kelvin scale we can write it as 273 Kelvin. Okay, so in degree centigrade 0 degree, in Kelvin scale if you want to talk about, it is 273 Kelvin. Clear? There are two scales of temperature. You can measure temperature in degree centigrade, you can measure temperature in Kelvin. This is temperature in degree centigrade and this is temperature in Kelvin. How to convert degree centigrade into Kelvin, all that also will be discussed a little later. Okay, so now remember exactly at 0 degree for 10 to 20 seconds, temperature is remaining constant at 0 degree. What exactly happening in that particular time? The entire ice is getting converted into liquid. Okay, and you have not stopped heating. That means, you know, what happened to that heat in this particular time? That heat was stored in the contents of beaker. Okay, it is stored in the water that has got generated from ice. Okay, and that heat is used to convert remaining amount of ice into liquid. Okay, so for about 10 to 20 seconds, you know, whatever heat that is generated, no, that heat is helped, you know, to break all the attractions between the ice particles. Okay, now it is no more a ice. Once all attractions between ice particles broken down, it has completely become a liquid. Okay, and that particular heat which is hidden in a beaker for about 20 to 10 to 20 seconds, is called as latent heat. Okay, so what do you mean by latent heat? Latent in the sense hidden. Okay, so it is the heat energy. It is the heat energy required by 1 kg of solid to convert into liquid at melting point is called latent heat of fusion. Very important word, latent heat of fusion. Okay, fusion means what? Conversion of solid into liquid, I told. Okay, fusion means conversion of solid into liquid. So what I told you, so as the temperature reaches to 0 degree, at 0 degree the temperature remains constant for at least some time. Okay, it will not rise, it will remain constant, but you have not stopped heating. So what happened to that heat energy? That heat energy was used up by the ice molecules, okay, to overcome the attractions. It has been used up to break all the attractions that is present in ice. We know solids have more attractions. We discussed in the previous video, right? Solids, the particles of solid have more attraction. Once this attraction breaks up, then that particles would become into liquid. So to break the attraction, we need energy. So in this particular time where the temperature remained constant at 0, whatever the heat that you supplied, you know, that heat is used to break all the attractions, and that heat is used to convert the entire solid into a liquid. Okay, so that heat we are calling it as latent heat. And during the conversion of solid into liquid, whatever the latent heat has generated, no, that is called as latent heat of fusion. Okay, so I repeat the definition once again. The heat energy required by 1 kg of solid to convert into liquid at melting point is called latent heat of fusion. Clear? Got to know? And you know what? This is the most important concept one must understand, right? So now we discussed latent heat of fusion. Now we will discuss what do you mean by latent heat of vaporization. When do you find latent heat of vaporization? When liquid was converting into gas. Okay, now let us understand how we can convert liquid into a gas. So now is conversion of liquid into gas. Okay, can you tell me what is this process called as? Whenever you have a liquid, how do you convert this into a gas? What is this process called? You know, this process is called as vaporization. Vaporization, and you will bring this vaporization on heating, right? Right? Okay. So now let me take a beaker. Let me take a beaker which has got water. Okay, water. And I will fix a thermometer here. Thermometer which has got a temperature 10 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree, 50, 60, like that, 100 degree. Okay, and I will start heating this with the help of a burner. Okay, fine. And as you start heating this liquid, what happens? As heating continues, can you tell me what you would observe? As heating continues, kinetic energy of water molecules increases. Okay, so as kinetic energy increases, what would happen for temperature? Our temperature increases. Okay, so that's why the temperature rises in the thermometer. Temperature rise you will observe in a thermometer. So what exactly happening here? Water you took, when you start heating, the water molecules would move faster. That means kinetic energy of water molecules has become more. Kinetic energy definitely depends on temperature, right? As kinetic energy increases, our temperature also increases. So that's why you will find the rise in thermometer. So what happens here is, okay, let me show you a graph. Okay, from 0 degree the temperature is increasing, and okay, this is 20 degree, this is 40 degree, this is 80 degree, and this is 100 degree. This is a temperature scale. Fine. So as heating increases, our temperature increases initially to 20 degree, later it will increases to 40, later it increases to 80, and the moment it reaches 100 degree, temperature remains constant. Okay, that means as the temperature reaches 100 degree, you know what, here the temperature T is remaining constant for about at least 20 seconds. Okay, so this temperature, at this for about 10 to 20 seconds of time, the entire amount of water is getting converted into gas. The entire amount of liquid is being converted into gas. Okay, and that temperature we are calling it as, boiling point of a liquid. Okay, so can you tell me what is the definition for boiling point here? Okay, let me write the definition of boiling point here. Boiling point definition. Temperature at which, T means temperature, temperature at which liquid converts into gas at atmospheric pressure. Okay, all this happens at atmospheric pressure. Atmosphere has certain amount of pressure because there are gases in the atmosphere. Wherever gas is there, pressure will be there. Okay, when these gas molecules, when they hit with each other, a force is created. That force only we will call it as pressure. That's how atmosphere has got a pressure. Can you tell me how much is atmospheric pressure? It is 1 atm. 1 atm. Atm is the unit of pressure. Okay, so 1 atm is the pressure of our atmosphere. So when atmospheric pressure is 1 atm, the temperature at which liquid is getting converted into vapor, that is gas, is called as, boiling point. Okay, temperature at which liquid converts into gas at atmospheric pressure. At atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. Okay, so here boiling point of water is how much? Boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. But if you want to write it in Kelvin, it is 373 Kelvin. In degree centigrade, boiling point of water is 100. In Kelvin, boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. Okay, so about that Kelvin, degree centigrade, I'll discuss later. Fine. So what did I tell you? At 100 degree temperature, the moment temperature reaches 100 degree in the thermometer, temperature remains constant. Okay, it will not change. It will not rise. But you have not stopped heating. When you continuously heat, temperature must rise continuously. No, it should go above 100 and so on. But for some time, the temperature stops. It will not rise. It will remain constant. Is because, at that temperature, the entire water is trying to convert into a vapor. Okay. Say, and the heat energy at this particular time, the heat energy that has generated when the temperature is constant at 100 degrees centigrade, that heat energy is used to break all the attractions between water molecules. Okay, once the attractions breaks only, that water gets converted into vapor. Okay, so that heat which is used for the conversion of liquid into gas at boiling point is called as latent heat of vaporization. Okay, we haven't stopped heating, but the temperature is not rising for about some time. So at that time, whatever heat that is there in the contents of a beaker, that is used to break all the attractions, and that is used to convert entire liquid into gas. Okay, so that heat we are calling it as latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so now let us try to write the definition for latent heat of vaporization. So these terms are very, very important. Latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so how do you define it? The heat energy energy required by 1 kg of liquid to convert into its vapor at boiling point okay, is called latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so the temperature doesn't rise, no, but the heat you have not stopped. So that heat at that particular time, at that boiling point time, okay, that heat is used up to break all the attractions in the liquid, and that heat is used up to convert the remaining liquid completely into gas. Okay, so that heat we will call it as latent heat of vaporization. Okay, and you must have heard vapor is more powerful than liquid, right? Say for example, when you keep a water on stove, you started boiling it, and you know what, which is more danger, hot water or steam? Steam would get created on top, that is what we call vapor. If you put your finger in a vapor, it hurts a lot than putting a finger in hot water, because in that vapor you will have lots of heat energy. Okay, lots of heat energy would be there in that vapor at 100 degrees centigrade. So that heat is used up to convert remaining water into gas. Clear? So that's the reason that vapors will have very high heat energy, no? So it is more dangerous than hot water. Okay, so you are not supposed to keep your hand or fingers in case of steam, because steam is more powerful than hot water, because steam will have more heat energy compared to hot water. What is that heat energy? It is nothing but the latent heat. Okay, so that latent heat, whatever is there, no, that will break the attractions present in the remaining water, and that heat will help to convert the remaining water into vapor. Clear? So this is the concept of latent heat of vaporization, right? So this is how we can convert a solid into liquid and liquid into a gas. Now we will see how we can convert a particular gas into a solid. So can you able to think of how gases gets converted into solid? When does a gas get converted into solid? It is on cooling. It is on cooling, right? Say imagine you have a lots of gas in a container. So this is a gas filled container. And as long as the container is open, what you would expect the gas would move outside. It will not stay in the container since it's a gas. Its particles move randomly at a very higher rate, right? They move very fast. Their kinetic energy is very much high. So they randomly move away and they won't stay in a container, right? But when you close the container, then definitely the gas particles would stay in a container only. Within this particular space, they keep moving. And now imagine I applied some pressure on a plate. Okay, pressure means, you know what? The plate keeps moving down and down. So when I apply the pressure, what happens is the molecules will become closer. The gas molecules will become closer. The moment they become close, the spaces between them will get reduced. Okay, say when they become closer, previously the gas molecules were having large spaces between them. Okay, but now the moment I applied pressure, okay, so let me write here, on applying pressure, on applying pressure. Okay, so what would happen here? The spaces between the gas particles becomes less. Okay, not only that, as the spaces between the gas particles become lesser and lesser, attraction between the particles would increase. Okay, so as the spaces between the particles become less, what happens? Attraction increases between the particles of gases. Okay, so this actually is responsible for conversion of a particular gas into liquid. Once the attractions become stronger and stronger between the particles, now it is no more a gas. If it is a gas, attractions must be less. No, now the space is decreased, attractions increased. Now this particular gaseous state has converted into liquid. And when you apply much more pressure, that liquid would finally get converted into solid, because attractions would increase much more, spaces would decrease much more. Finally, that liquid gets converted into solid. Okay, so this is what we call cooling of gas. Okay, so what will I write here? This leads to the conversion of gas into liquid or solid. Okay, and this process we will call it as liquefaction of gases. This process is called liquefaction of gases. Okay, conversion of gas into liquid or solid by applying more pressure. Okay, so when does the liquefaction of gases takes place? So it takes place at high pressure and less temperature. Okay, temperature must be very much less and pressure must be very much high. This is very, very important. Always liquefaction of gas, that means gas converting into liquid or solid, takes place only when you apply very much high pressure and when you decrease the temperature to minimum. Okay, so this is all about conversion of gases into solid or liquid. Okay, so the best example is dry ice. Can you tell me what do you mean by dry ice? Dry ice is nothing but solid carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is gas, we know. But the same carbon dioxide, when you put it in a container, when you apply a very high pressure, this is what happens. Spaces between them decreases, attractions would increase, and finally that gas is getting converted into solid, and that's what we will call it as dry ice. Okay, so you must be you must have observed in the bakeries or so, you know, they would keep some stuffs in the dry ice, right? It's not that it's ice made up of water. No, dry ice is nothing but it is solid carbon dioxide. Okay, so just like ice, it is used. Clear? So that's all about the conversion of gases into solid. Now let us look at few questions where I will teach you what are the two scales of temperature and how to convert degree centigrade into Kelvin and Kelvin to degree centigrade. Look at the question. Convert the following into Celsius scale. You know what? There are two scales of temperature. Temperature can be measured in two ways. So one is in degree Celsius. Okay, so we call it as degree Celsius scale, and other one is Kelvin scale. Okay, you have a third scale called Fahrenheit scale. Okay, so here we concentrate only two scales, degree centigrade and Kelvin. Degree centigrade is indicated like this, Kelvin is indicated with capital K. Okay, there is a relationship between this and this. Kelvin scale is always is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. Okay, so this is the relationship between Kelvin scale and degree centigrade scale. So now they are telling convert the following into Celsius scale. Okay, so they have given it in Kelvin, you should convert it into Celsius scale. What is that equation? K is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. So they have given temperature in Kelvin, substitute this value here. So it is T100, temperature in Kelvin is how much? 300. 300 is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. Okay, so here degree centigrade is equal to, what you will do? 300, this if it goes this side, minus 273. Okay, so what is your answer? 27 degree centigrade. Okay, so this is how you can convert Kelvin scale into degree centigrade. Okay, what is the relationship you must remember? Kelvin is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. Kelvin scale they have given temperature. You should show it in degree centigrade. So what you will do? You will substitute in the place of K, you will put 300 is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. So this value in degree centigrade, if you want to show, degree centigrade is equal to 300 minus 273. This value goes that side. So you will get this as in degree centigrade. So in degree centigrade, it is 27 degree centigrade. The same temperature, if you want to talk about in Kelvin scale, it is 300 Kelvin. Okay, like the same temperature, but two ways we can tell. You can talk about that temperature in centigrade, degree centigrade, as well as Kelvin. And this is for your homework. So convert 573 becomes how much degree centigrade? Okay, so similarly do it and post the answer in the comments. Fine. And now the opposite way, convert the following into Kelvin scale they have asked. So the same relation, what is the relation? K is equal to 273 plus degree centigrade. So K is equal to 273 plus how much degree centigrade they get? 27. So 273 plus 27 is how much? It is 300 Kelvin. So the answer is 300 Kelvin. Okay, so similarly, here how do you convert 100 degree centigrade in degree centigrade? It is 273 plus 100. So it will be 373 Kelvin, isn't it? So that's how, if you can remember this relation, you can convert degree centigrade into Kelvin or Kelvin into degree centigrade. Fine. And now you see the next question, very important. What is the physical state of water at 250 degree centigrade? So, is our water exist as solid, liquid or gas at this temperature? That's what you have to tell. 250 degree centigrade, it is higher than 100 degree centigrade. At 0 degree centigrade, ice becomes water, right? At 0 degree, actually you have both ice and water mixed together. Okay, at 0 degree, actually the entire ice is getting converted into water. That means at 0 degree for about some time, you will have both ice and water, isn't it? Latent heat of fusion will get generated. That latent heat will convert the entire ice into, water. For some fraction of time, temperature remains constant. That's what we call latent heat of fusion, right? So exactly at 0 degree, both ice and water would be there. Below 0 degree, ice. Above 0 degree, water. But at 0 degree, both ice and water. Okay. Similarly, at 100 degree centigrade, your water starts getting converted into vapor. Yes or no? Above 100, you will have only water vapor. Below 100, you will have only water. But at 100, you will have both water and vapor for some fraction of time, isn't it? Okay, so 250 degree, it is above 100. Above 100 means your water will stay as vapor. Your water will stay as vapor. So water exists in vapor state. And at 100, tell me, at 100 degree centigrade, your water will stay as vapor and little of water also would be there. Okay, so at 100 degree centigrade, you will have both water in the form of liquid plus water in the form of vapor, right? As 100 degree, the moment temperature reaches 100 degree, for some fraction of time it is remaining constant. Latent heat of vaporization gets created, and that latent heat of vaporization is responsible for converting entire liquid into vapor. So at 100 degree, actually your liquid is getting vaporized into vapor. But at 100 degree, both water, liquid and vapor, both states you will observe. Above 100, it's only vapor. Below 100, it's only water. But at 100, both liquid and vapor state is existed. Okay, so this is all about the concept of conversion of solid into liquid. See what actually happens for the solid during the conversion, all that we studied, right? Very, very important concept. And in my next concept, I will come up with last topic of the chapter, that is evaporation. Okay, so till then, revise the concept carefully. Do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a detailed way. Thank you so much.